Do you ever get pinching in the front part of your hip when doing squats, split squats, or going to deeper hip flexion? Today we're talking about why that happens and what to do about it. Hi, I'm Alex Effer, founder of Resilient Training Rehab, and I've helped thousands of coaches and clinicians get faster and more consistent results with their clients. So let's talk about some of the reasons why that hip impingement happens in the first place. Now, of course, there could be structural changes at the hip or other type of deformities that can then cause this, but today we're going to talk about functionally why that happens. So when we have a pelvis that is more open into more external rotation, what that's going to do is going to change the position of the sockets. So if I open up the pelvis, my sockets are now going to face downwards and out. If I close the pelvis, it's now sockets are now going to face more forward. And so what that does is that impacts how the femur is actually going to move within the socket. So people who have more of this open pelvis are going to have more external rotation at the femurs. Those who have more of a closed pelvis are going to have more internal rotation at the femur. Now, the reason why people start to feel this pinching, and it usually happens at that mid-range of the split squat or during that 90 degrees of hip flexion, is because they're missing that internal rotation at the hip and they don't have the ability for the pelvis to close on top of it. So think that the back part of the pelvis is closed, this sacrum and the sit bone get closer together, and this femur turns back. And so if I'm not able to turn forward with the femur, then that's going to create impingement in the front part of the pelvis. Now, another reason why this happens is because if I don't have this internal rotation, the pelvis may tilt forward or turn to the other side. Now, that's going to be seen when you see somebody do a hip flexion and their foot swings inwards. So as they approach that 90 degrees of hip flexion, they're going to be limited internal rotation, so their leg can't go straight up. So it starts to deviate out towards the shoulder. So this would also be indicative of a pelvis that's going forward and turning away from that side, because when that happens, we then get more external rotation at the femur. If I can't get IR of the hip, I'm going to do it through the spine or do it through somewhere above, which is then going to turn the pelvis in different directions. So in order to restore the space in the front part of the hip, we're going to have to change the shape of the pelvis. We're then going to have to open up the back part of the pelvis and then reinforce with exercises that are going to keep the weight into my heel so I'm not going to arch my back to do so. So let's talk about some of the exercises in order to overcome this. So the first exercise we're going to do is we're going to try to reshape the pelvis. And so again, if that pelvis is open more like a flower, we need to close it so we can change the socket position. So what we're going to do is we're going to lie on top of the foam roller and we're going to rock back and forth. So now as I rock back and forth, you could just see that that pelvis is going to start to get laterally compressed, and that's going to reinforce some of that internal rotation happening at the pelvis, which is then going to put my femur in a better position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the foam roller and I'm going to put it underneath my belt line. I'm going to find the position that feels a little bit tender. So I don't want to go too low where I'm on my hip bone. I don't want to go too high where I'm above the crest of my pelvis. So I'm going to go just below, and I'm going to take my right knee. So let's think that this is a right hip impingement. I'm going to take my right knee and I'm going to push it down to the ground. I don't want it too high at 90. I don't want it underneath me. I want it about 45 degrees. I'm then going to keep this leg open at the beginning. I'm going to support myself on my arm. I'm then going to breathe out as I roll forward, and I'm going to bring my arm and my knee down on the ground. And take a big breath in here. I don't want this bottom leg to flip up. I want you to keep the bottom knee and the bottom ankle on the ground. You're going to breathe out and open up. A lot of people want to move the knee with it. You're not actually going to get that change of shape in the pelvis itself. So we want to make sure we keep that knee locked down. And then we're going to roll forward, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in here as we push that knee down, breathe out as we roll forward. So an exercise in order to reinforce what we just previously did is gonna be this low cable split squat with the heel elevated. The reason why I like this a lot is because what the heel elevation is gonna do, it's gonna open up the front part of my ankle. But more importantly, it's gonna shift my weight forward on towards my toes. So I gotta shift my weight back towards my heel. By doing this, I get to open up the back of the hip as well as the front. So when I'm going through the movement, I'm able to open up both sides, which is going to be compressed and tense with somebody who's got hip impingement. By holding on to the cables, it's going to pull me even more forward. So now I got to push myself back, open up in between my shoulder blades. What I really want to do with this is I want to make sure that I'm not going too far on my toes and I'm really staying in my heel. By doing this split squat position, this reinforces this internal rotation at the hip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe in as I let the cables pull me forward, drive my knee forward, and stay vertical. I'm then going to breathe out as I push up. And one key thing is I don't want my knee to come back with me. I want to keep my knee forward. So I'm going down, knee comes forward. So you can see I'm going up more versus going backwards. So I'm driving myself up to keep the weight through that midfoot and the heel. Breathe in as I go down. Breathe out. You should feel a lot of inside quad and a lot of glute. And you can modify with how low you go depending on what you can control. You don't want to go down too low where you're really leaning back and you're getting too deep a hip flexion. So you want to just go into a position that you're able to control. So the third exercise we're going to talk about is going to be a crossover step up. One of my favorite exercises in order to reinforce that internal rotation and to push off of that side, because by bringing the leg crossing the body, that's going to force the internal rotation. What a lot of these people want to do is they want to have their knee out and then they come up. And that is, again, somebody who's missing that ability to internally rotate. So we could do a couple things. Sometimes people do too much of a cross, and you can see now my knee is going inward, but my foot's kind of turning out. I don't want this. You know, some people who get a little bit too tight, and then that's when they start to go out towards the side. So what we want to do is find somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to cross over. I'm going to lean a little bit more towards that left side as I bring my arm across. And then I'm going to step up and make sure my leg doesn't extend, stay slightly bent. And then I'm going to go control down, and then I'm going to come up, trying to keep my knee as stationary as possible. And this left leg is going behind it or even just in line. So I'm able to create that motion at the hip. We're going to be really using a lot of anterior glute med, a lot of the inner adductors and inner hamstrings in order to reinforce this motion. Hip impingement is an internal rotation issue. And in this video, we talked about why hip impingement happens and some strategies in order to overcome it. If you want to learn more about compensations like this, check out my Evolve Biomechanics mentorship. We talk about the why behind compensations, some case studies behind why this would happen, and then what to do about it. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, save, subscribe. I'll see you next time.